everyone, I'm Sunny D and welcome back to another episode of the Appalachian Expose. Ricky Morton recently stopped by the ACW Compound to talk about the good old wrestling days and his heel turn.
Tell me a good or a few good Ronnie Garvin flying on the plane stories.
Which one? Jesus Christ, I flew with Ronnie Garvin many a times. You know, I was going to change my gimmick to Ricky Daredevil Morton. To ride with Ronnie on an airplane was some of the greatest experiences that a man could ever experience. Just to be there, I'm sorry because I'm thinking, squirrel. But man, the one time I'm flying with Ronnie, this couple times, I'm going to go two of them. Here we go, we're flying. And I notice we're awful low to the ground. And I'm looking out and we're flying through downtown Charlotte. I can see people in the buildings, right? And I'm going, Ronnie, what are we so low for? He goes, hold this flashlight. I said, what for? He says, the generator went out and we're going to land at the airport without them knowing it. Ain't that against the law? No. Bullshit. So we did that. But no, I'm flying with him, and you ever watch these old movies and the airplanes in the air and it's lightning striking outside? Instead of flying around it, he goes through it. And Robert, we're four-seater, Wahoo McDaniels and me and Robert in the back, and we're in there like this right here. And Robert's got a thing to hold on to right here. And I got a hold of Robert's leg. And I'm cussing out every breath. I hate you, Ronnie Garvin, you boom, boom, beep, beep, beep. And we land. The airplane finally land, I'm still cussing it. I'm telling Robert to get out. Robert can't get up because I had a hold of Robert's leg so tight that it cut the circulation off and he couldn't move it. It made his like it asleep. And then another time I'm flying with him. He says, look for a landing strip. Why? The generator went out again. Put a new one on it. We landed in a field. Boom, boom, you know, bam, cows are running this way. And here's a guy on a tractor out there bush hogging, right? You know, I could tell and all of a sudden he pulls up and I'm too scared. I'm froze stiff in that seat. Ronnie gets out and they talk. Look here, he pulls the tractor up, pulls fire jumping cables out, and boosts the airplane off. Look here. What are we doing, Ronnie? Oh, the airport's about 5 miles over here. We're going to fly over there and land. And what the hell, Ronnie Garvin? I love Ronnie. Ronnie had that accent. Ronnie, when he first come to the United States, he couldn't speak English. You know what I'm saying? He was a French Canadian and speak French. Probably people won't say, something monte que. But he speak a lot of French, and the guys used to mess with him. To eat, they tell him, you order son of a bitch real good. Right? Oh, I want one son of a bitch. Right? The boys used to do that to him all the time. Great story.
What was it like the Great American Bash, 86, 87?
We're at a turn of our wrestling business with Robert and I. And it wasn't because we were something new. And been at the Great American Bashes, and I know I'm jumping back and forth here. But see, that's when right after, you had territories. And guys asked me a lot. And I'm going to get back to the Great American Bash because to make you understand what I'm talking about, I have to go here. You had territories. And see, territories were owned by the top baby faces. You understand me? So if you was a baby face in our business, you didn't have a chance. You wasn't going to get over the promoters. And that's what everybody said, I wish they'd go back to territories. Not if you're a worker, you're not. Not if you're a baby face. It's good to be a heel, but finally, he's going to beat you and you got to leave. That's when you go to another territory. That's what it was about. And maybe you might not have that good run in the other territory. But at this time, Robert and I, we become the Rock and Roll Express. We're two All-American young baby faces. And for instance, is what I'm trying to tell you. We went to work for Bill Watts. And the reason we went there, and everybody that's listening out here, and everybody, our business is being at the right place at the right time, but knowing what to do when they asked you. You know, it's like I told you, you know, if WWE calls you, they say, and that's one of my things, don't ever be afraid to be afraid. If they ever call you and say, hey, listen, we want to do this with you, but we want you to wear a G-string. And you ask them, you tell them, you say, what color? You see what I'm saying? Never be afraid to be afraid. Do what you got to do to be in our business. But I'm going, Bill Watts on the territory. Now, Bill Watts is wanting to retire. Just all of a sudden, he wants to retire. He was the top babyface. He has beat every heel in the world in his territory. So at this time, he didn't want a booker to book to push himself. So he brought Bill Dundee in. Bill wanted to work, but he couldn't. So when me and Robert and I get there, guess who the top babyface was? Abdullah the Butcher. And you know why? Because Bill just finished his angle with him, and he beat him. Now this is what you got to understand in our business. They turned Abdullah babyface because the next heel coming in for Bill Watts to work, it's got to beat Abdullah. You see what I'm saying? But now Abdullah's babyface, and Bill's quitting. So they're starting a territory, and it's new opportunities for people. Robert and I, Bill Watts seen us wrestle in Memphis, Tennessee. Two young baby faces. You hadn't had that yet. And Bill Dundee was a smart guy. Dusty Rhodes is really smart. Not only they put, but they kept up in the news. In 1985 or 1984, when we went to Mid-South, you know, our conflict with Russia, United States, you know, about how you know, back in the 70s, it was the Germans. you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Tojo Yamamoto from Japan, you know, but it was the Russians. And here, me and Robert are all-American guys. They shot videos on us with music and blah. And dude, we were instantly, when they shot it in there, it was something new. And remember, in any business that you do, if you draw girls, you'll draw guys. You hear me? And that's what we done. We was at the right place at the right time. And they never seen nothing like Robert and I in the wrestling business. You know, every baby, it was never, I mean, look at Bill Watts. You know, he's 6'9", 380 pounds. They didn't draw. All they drew was hardcore wrestling fans. But we reached a different era in this business by drawing people. And by doing that, so when we went to North Carolina, you know, Ric Flair was coming in and he seen us. And Jimmy Crockett just took over TBS, nationwide TV. See, Louisiana, man, we broke records, attendance records, everything, you know. Even Elvis Presley's records, you know, like the Shreveport and all that stuff. I mean, until they built bigger buildings. But when we go into the Great American Bash, we see, gosh, man, here we go. All of a sudden, we are nationwide. Robert and I come in, and we wrestle who? The new Russians. This time, instead of the ones in Louisiana was Barry Dorso, which is Crusher Khrushchev, and Nikolai Volkov was in Louisiana. But then when we come to Charlotte, it's the same thing, but it's Ivan Koloff. And guys, Ivan was a horse. What a worker. Barry was a great worker. And at that time, Nikita was greener than our shit. You know, God, it hurts you by looking at you. You understand what I'm saying? But no, and Dusty was, and you got to understand when Robert and I arrived to wrestle them on TV for the world titles, they have beat everybody to tear. They beat Dusty and Mike and TA. You see what I'm saying? And I get back, but then here we go. We shot the angles with them, and all of a sudden, the territory just erupted. And it's like today, and our business hasn't changed. In our time, we wrestled in the same town every week, okay? Nowadays, your big companies, they maybe come to your town once a year and have half a building? Hell, we sold them out every week until, broke records. I remember Memphis, Tennessee sold out every Monday night. If it was less, and I think the building held a little, you know what? And even at that time, that's when they first started their pro basketball. Pro basketball they wouldn't draw 800 people. I ain't kidding, they was fixing the fold. Here's wrestling every Monday night, drawing how many, I think the Mid-South Coliseum held 12,000. Sold out every week, until they built the big. But to be at the Great American Bash, to walk out in a football stadium with 40,000 people, when you started in the business, it was good to have 500 or 600 people, and then you walk out, 40,000. But you couldn't even hear. In the ring, you had to talk as loud as you could in the ring because you couldn't hear each other. People were screaming so loud, but we were rock stars. But it's not only because of us; it was the people we worked with too. Ivan Koloff and Barry and Nikita. See, they knew how to cause. When you're a heel, they're heels. You understand me? That's what they did. The guy told me the other night. He says, "Man, we go to the ring tonight. Some people might cheer for me." I said, "They're going to cheer for you if you want them to. If you don't want them to, they won't." You see what I'm saying? But everybody knew their role. And then as it grew on with the Midnight Express and then the Four Horsemen, it's so exciting in the wrestling business. It was slowed down. Nowadays it's every move. Even when you come out the curtain, every move is planned. They go over it 10 times a day. That's why you got to be at TV at 8 o'clock in the morning. You see what I'm saying? It's rehearsed. And that's what's wrong with our wrestling business.
Take me through a week of working for Crockett, the shows, the coming in to tape interviews, the Sunday morning, the Sunday after.
I could tell you a week there, but I can tell you 100 different kind of weeks. But I go with the greatest one. When I had my run with Ric Flair, and I want everybody to know this because and understand me that Jimmy Cornette didn't own NWA. Okay, he didn't own WCW. He didn't own WWE. He worked for him like everybody else did. A lot of things there that happened, especially when I had my run with Ric Flair, it was done behind closed doors. Okay, we talked about a lot of different things that Jimmy Cornette didn't know nothing about. I love you, Jimmy, but you didn't know nothing about it. They didn't want you to. I didn't want you to. Didn't want Robert to know. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Yes, what you said that didn't happen, it did happen. You wasn't there. You wasn't a part of it. Thank you. Now, a week with Ric Flair on the road. The greatest push I ever had in my life that any man could ever ask for. We went 17 days in a row, our time limit. But that was 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. Besides the TV we did early that morning for TBS. Okay? You had Saturday afternoon shows, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, and Sunday nights. Robert and I busted the territory wide open. We was fortunate enough for Crockett to buy private planes. Okay, you had the underneath plane and you had the top boys plane, but I always rode on the underneath plane. But it's one of them old G1s. I don't think it went 125 miles. You fly to Kansas City, it take you 4 days. But you be on the deck. Hey, look here, old proper, look here, pull out. But boy, what a party plane it was. But see, we flew home every night at that time. but working hard. I mean, we was at a time in our business that would never be replaced ever again. I don't care what you do. But it was hard because then you didn't have the office, and it was hard on us, because one night I'd wrestle Ric Flair in Miami Beach, Florida. Then the next night I'd be in Los Angeles, California. And then the next night we'll be in New York City. The next night, Portland, Oregon. And you wonder how come we on them drugs. I mean, I don't know. No, I'm just scared. But no, it was hard. You understand me? Yeah. It was really hard on the body. It was really hard on your family life. That's why I've been happily married a bunch of times. No, I'm just kidding. But it was it was just a new thing that was opened up. It was hard on your body, and during that, and it's, again, we work shows in Japan even. Man, you ever been on and then you didn't have your straight flights from Atlanta or nothing like that. I mean, we'd wrestle, get in at 3 o'clock in the morning. You got to be at the airport at 7 o'clock in the morning because you had to fly to Atlanta to Minneapolis to Portland, Oregon, then fly to Japan. You see what I'm saying? Then get off the airplane and go straight to the arena and wrestle in Japan. Now that's 2 days just getting there. And then when it's over, then when you get there, understand me, it's not like, you land, Tokyo is the biggest city in the world. It's not like just getting off there, okay, take me to my hotel. Hell, a hotel take you 6 hours to get to it in Tokyo. I'm serious. That's the reason when I started going over there a lot, I learned how to ride the trains because you can, train, you'd be there that quick, but traffic so much, and they're picking everybody up, waiting for everybody to come in on the air flights. It's killer. And as soon as you get through, you're 6 hours back to get on the airplane, and then you fly another 2 days to get back to where you're going. And gosh, it took a toll on your body, because then they didn't have the people to, okay, we're going to be in Miami tonight, Tampa the next night. It's all there together. You see what I'm saying? Hell, we was jumping all over the world, man. And, but it was, I wouldn't trade nothing for it. I love my business. I love what I do. Love the boys and girls of our business.
Last question. The the York Foundation term when you turned heel.
Mm-hmm.
Was it York? Alexander York?
Richard Morton.
Terry Reynolds.
Yeah, Terry Reynolds.
Alexander York.
Walk us through how that whole thing happened. The decisions to turn heel and.
Well, I was. Okay, this is a long story.
Do it.
Walked into the dressing room in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Robert was sitting there, and I could tell Robert he wasn't right. Something was wrong. There's a lot of the boys there, but I walk over to him and I look down. I said, Robert, what's the matter, bud? He says, oh, I got hurt last night. And I'm thinking to myself, and I walk back over and sit down. I was, you got hurt? You didn't even get in the damn ring. How did you get hurt? You hear me? So all the boys went out, and I walked back over to him, and I said, Robert, what happened to you? He goes, my wife ran over me in the car. He pulled his britches down his leg, was solid black like my tights right here. Different time, different business. Robert and I was never on contracts. We got paid by the nights. So I told him, I said, listen to me, and this is a part of the boys, and this is what comes. I guess a lot of the guys love me, but understand this. I told him, I said, Robert, just when we play our music and we go to the ring, I'm going to go this way, get everybody's attention. I'm going to be on tables and being crazy. I said, just go to the ring and get on side of the apron without nobody noticing you. You understand me? So, boy, I did. Boom, I'm over here. I got the heels over here. It's Teddy Long. Matter of fact, we were some books to read, Ron Simmons and Teddy Long. Now, I'm around, they didn't know. I walked around, I got Teddy along, and he's biting, the people are watching us, and I see Robert get up on the side of the ring, and I says, when I tag you in, come through the ropes, trip over the ropes, you hurt your leg. Okay? Because we didn't have insurance. You didn't have, unless you had it yourself. We didn't have the contracts. Everything's mind over matter. You can make anybody believe anything. So I tagged Robert, and he come in, and Robert fell, and Butch Reed looked at him. I said, God, you hear his knee pop? You see, that happened with WCW. That's Ted Turner owns that. Matter of fact, Robert's whole leg was tore out. We'll see, he got hurt in the ring. But he didn't. Now, here's Robert. They sent him to Alabama, to the University of Alabama, where they do the knee surgeries on the football players. They reconstructed his whole knee, legs. He was out for a year. You know, he was ready in 3 months. They couldn't find him because they was paying him $2,000 a week. You know, he's laying on the beach in Florida. But see, when that happened, I didn't have a job. I was lost. That was right when WCW was taking over. I was lost in the shuffle. You had 100 teams. So either I had a choice to turn heel. They offered me that with Terry Taylor to be the York Foundation, or I didn't have a job. You see what I'm saying? I needed a job, so I turned heel with the York Foundation. You know what? And we really got over Terry Reynolds, which was Alexander York. Matter of fact, if anybody watched AEW, the last time Robert and I were on there, where they power drive me off, I had the York Foundation t-shirt on, the original one. Okay? You can't believe the money people offer me for that shirt, badass. But that's what happened. That's the reason I turned heel. And then when Robert finally come back, I beat Robert on pay-per-view with Alexander York, and me and him both went to the back and quit, and we went to Smoky Mountain Wrestling for Jimmy Cornette. You see, we quit, went there, walked out that, and I beat him, and we walked out. Got our money, got paid, because we didn't have contracts. You know, but Jimmy opened up Smoky Mountain, and getting back to Jimmy, you know, Jimmy's got a great mind. He's one of the greater minds in the world for our business. You know, he ran Smoky Mountain real good. But he don't have the answers to everything. All right? Okay.
All right, Ricky, well, thank you. That's it, baby.
Don't get hot.
Don't get hot.
Okay. Hey, guys, and everybody that's in here, this is what I do for a living, and I love my business. And I hope all of y'all love it too. Okay? Just enjoy it. Have fun.
Be sure to check us out on YouTube and Facebook. Like, comment, and share to let us know you're watching. From the ACW Appalachian Expose, I'm Sunny D.